we're starting now. So get comfortable, nice, comfy seated posture with your feet. If they're on the ground, about a hip's width apart, shoulders are aligned with your hips. And imagine your spine is a string of pearls of light that stretches from the base all the way up through the crown of the head and beyond. So really trying to put some space in between those vertebrae. Even though you feel that your spine might be, fixed now as we get to a certain age, but actually with a little bit of mental focus, a little bit of exercise, the right kinds of vitamins, you can improve things. It's possible. I mean, you're never going to have a 14-year-old spine, but you might be able to give yourself some relief. So anyway, for those of you who have back issues. So anyway, now for the moment, we just do visualization. Just imagine this spine is a string of pearls of light, and it's got some space in between it. And it has its natural curves, and someone's just lengthening that spine. Take a nice deep breath. And then just as you go to the crown of your head, just notice what sensations are there. Just feel. There may be no sensations there, and that's okay as well. So relax the scalp and the forehead and the eyes, the nose, the cheeks, your mouth, back of the tongue, your jaw, the back of the head, the neck, and allow your shoulders and shoulder blades to drop down and relax the throat and the chest and the belly and all of your limbs. And your hands and fingers and feet and toes. Take a nice deep breath. And be aware of your environmental sounds within your home and outside. And then just allow those sounds to be there. And then let's just check in with ourselves today and see what's going on in our mind. What kind of day did you have? The same, just ask yourself what you might ask your best friend or your spouse or your child. What kind of day have you had today? How are you doing? So just check in with yourself. How are you? Because you may not have that best friend that will call you and say, hi, how's it going? What have you been up to today? We might just have ourselves. So we can check in with ourselves. See what the answer is. And then you may have some thoughts, some issues that aren't particularly serving you very well. So just see what is there and maybe what is it I can let go of. Let go of the things that no longer serve you. And bring to mind all the people of your life. So your loved ones, the ones you don't like so much, and your strangers, and imagine they can all change place at any time. And they're all equal. They all have this, despite how we feel about them, they all have this extraordinary capacity for Buddhahood. They all want to be happy and they all don't want to suffer. So we think we'll do this meditation this evening for the benefit of all these people of our life and by extension, all sentient beings. So we think there is no negativity that can't be purified. So, this purification process it's psychological. We're working with our mind. So we create negativity there. We create negativity in our mind. It doesn't get created anywhere else. And we have control over our mind. We can change it. And we can place positive thoughts in there instead. So we start with this power of regret. So sincerely regret from the depths of your heart anything you have done to harm any living being on this day, in this life, and in all of our past lives. And think of specific actions of both your body and your speech, and then in general, regret all. And the reason to regret is based on this logic of karma. And we experience everything due to our past karma, our past actions, and having harmed others, we ourselves will necessarily experience suffering in the future. We can't bear the thought of any future suffering that we might experience. So, the idea is logically that we remove these karmic seeds before they ripen as future suffering for us. So think like this. I regret from the depths of my heart having harmed others with my body and my speech, having broken my vows because I do not want the future suffering. I'm sick of suffering, and also regret any anger, attachment, and the rest that are the cause of why we harm others. And then think again, I'm sick of this suffering. And then think, what can I do about it? Whom can I turn to? So here we come to the power of reliance, and we turn to the Buddha, who we see as a doctor, who has the methods that we can use to purify. And we're not needing this Buddha Vajrasattva to forgive us. We're wanting to, take refuge in him as you would your doctor, because he has methods, and his methods are his medicine. So you can imagine Vajrasattva above the crown of your head. And so if all that detail is a little complicated for you, just imagine a beautiful ball of white, purifying, healing light there. The energy of Vajrasattva and the energy of your teacher manifesting in this form for your benefit. This light is radiant and blissful. And he's sitting on cross-legged on a white lotus and a moon cushion. He has a beautiful radiant face. His eyes are long and they're peaceful and full of love and compassion for you and all those people of your life. He has a sweet red mouth. His hair is black and held up in a top knot. His arms are crossed at his heart, the left underneath the right. The left is holding a bell representing wisdom, and the right is holding a vajra, which represents the indestructibility of compassion. And their being crossed represents the union of these two. And this symbolizes enlightenment itself, the development of infinite wisdom and infinite compassion. To the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, I go for refuge until I'm enlightened. By this practice of meditating on Guru Vajrasattva, may I reach Buddhahood so as to benefit all sentient beings. So we have a little section here on developing compassion. So in order to develop compassion, we need to rely upon other beings, the very beings we have harmed, and those who have harmed us, by developing compassion for them. So think particularly of people you've harmed recently and in the past, and then in general, all beings we have ever harmed since beginningless time. And then remember those who have harmed you and have compassion for them, particularly because the harm they've caused you is going to result in suffering. So make a strong aspiration to do this practice of purification for the sake of all these beings, and think, I must purify for their sake. And then we come to the power of the remedy, and we start with the body. And Vajrasattva very compassionately sends powerful white nectar, like coming out of a hose, quite forcefully from his heart. And it arcs around and enters your crown and pours into your entire body, filling you completely. And it keeps pouring into you until it forces out of your lower orifices all the harm you have ever done to any living being with your body in the form of inky liquid, and this pours out of you and disappears into space, not one atom left as we recite the mantra. Vajrasattva Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hom Pe Vajrasattva Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hom Pe Vajrasattva Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hom Pe Vajrasattva Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hom Pe Vajrasattva Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hom Pe Vajrasattva Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hom Pe Vajrasattva Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hom Pe. So be delighted that all the harm you've ever done to any sentient being with your body is now completely purified, and think that there's no way you could do anything but benefit others now with your body. And next is the purification of our speech, and Vajrasattva very happily sends powerful nectar from his heart chakra, and this arcs around and quite forcefully enters your crown and fills your entire body, except this time forcing up to the top of your body all the negativity of your speech, and this overflows and disappears into space, not one atom left. So you can just imagine all the gossip and the harsh speech and the useless speech and lying and talking badly about others behind their backs. Just imagine all of this is purified by this powerful nectar filling you as we recite the mantra. Vajrasattva Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hom Pe Vajrasattva Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hom Pe Vajrasattva Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hom Pe Vajrasattva Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta me boa sawa siddhi mimpi yatta sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam guru hum ha ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hum pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Dida me boa situkaya me boa sipokaya me boa Anarakta me boa sawa siddhi mimpi yatta sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam guru hum ha ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hum pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Dida me boa situkaya me boa sipokaya me boa Anarakta me boa sawa siddhi mimpi yatta sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam guru hum ha ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hum pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Dida me boa situkaya me boa sipokaya me boa Anarakta me boa sawa siddhi mimpi yatta sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam guru hum ha ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hum pe. So again, feel so happy that your speech is now completely purified, and imagine it's not possible to do anything but benefit others now with your speech. And the next is the purification of our mind. And Vajrasattva very compassionately sends powerful beams of light from his heart chakra. This fills and this arcs around into your crown chakra, excuse me, and fills your entire being. So you imagine you walk into your room, it's dark, you flick on the switch, and the light instantly dispels the darkness. So try and get that image in your mind. And the light from Vajrasattva's heart hits your heart chakra and all the darkness of the negativity of your mind. So just imagine completely disappearing. Excuse me. So all your attachment and negativity, neediness, anger, bitterness, grudges, depression, resentment, jealousy, anger, all of this instantly dispelled, not one atom left. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Dida me boa situkaya me boa sipokaya me boa Anarakta me boa sawa siddhi mimpi yatta sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam guru hum ha ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hum pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Dida me boa situkaya me boa sipokaya me boa Anarakta me boa sawa siddhi mimpi yatta sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam guru hum ha ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hum pe. Excuse me. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Dida me boa situkaya me boa sipokaya me boa Anarakta me boa sawa siddhi mimpi yatta sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam guru hum ha ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya satra a hum pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Dida me boa situkaya me boa sipokaya me boa Anarakta me boa sawa siddhi mimpi yatta sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam guru hum ha ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya satra a hum pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Dida me boa situkaya me boa sipokaya me boa Anarakta me boa sawa siddhi mimpi yatta sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam guru hum ha ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya satra a hum pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Dida me boa situkaya me boa sipokaya me boa Anarakta me boa sawa siddhi mimpi yatta sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam guru hum ha ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya satra a hum pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra Ah Hum Pe. So be delighted that all your delusions, which are the source of all of our own suffering and the cause of why we harm others with our body and our speech, are completely purified, and think that there's no space now in your heart for anything other than love and kindness and forgiveness and wisdom and bliss and compassion. And next is the purification of even the imprints of negativity of the body, speech, and mind. And this time, imagine the Vajrasattva sends light and nectar, and it fills you completely and eradicates even the subtlest imprints of negative energy from your mind stream. And I'm just going to take a sip of water before we start. Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mebiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra Ah Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mempiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra Ah Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mempiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra Ah Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra Ah Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra Ah Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra Ah Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra Ah Hum Pe. Now feel completely purified. There's not one atom of negativity left in your mind stream. Even the subtlest obscurations to your enlightenment have been removed. And now we come to the power of resolve, and remember to rejoice in your efforts. Because here we're not only purifying our, these negative karmic seeds so they don't ripen in the future, but we're doing a little bit of therapy on ourselves. We're healing our minds. So just rejoice for that and feel really happy about that. And then and also, rejoicing everybody else here doing the same. And so then we think of something, I don't know where you're all at, but something to work on. And you can spend a whole day ruminating and then realize that something comes along and changes your mood, and all of a sudden you're like, oh, I was stuck in this rut for like 8 hours, So maybe it takes a bit of discipline to kind of shift something like that. So maybe just bringing some awareness to how long we spend spinning. And then maybe think of some tools that we can use to help ourselves get out of the spin, get out of the rumination. So think of something you'd like to work on. It might be biting your fingernails or eating too much sugar or indulging in this or that. And maybe just say, I'm just going to separate myself from my addictions, my habit energies, or I'll do it for 10 minutes. And then over time, it builds. So let's just dedicate. Imagine Vajrasattva's delighted with us, wants to merge with our minds, melts into white light and absorbs into us through the crown. So imagine my teacher's body, speech, and mind, Vajrasattva's body, speech, and mind, and my own body, speech, and mind are the same. So next, Rinpoche, he would talk, in emptiness there is no I, the creator of negative karma. There is no action of creating negative karma, and there is no negative karma created. So at whatever level you understand emptiness, just place your mind there for a little while. We can think of all phenomena as being empty. They do not exist from their own side. And we can also think that the way things appear to me may not necessarily be the way they actually exist. So let's just dedicate all the merit, all the positive energy we've created doing this practice to all living beings, and think, may all the virtuous karma I've created from doing this practice ripen as my enlightenment for the sake of sentient beings as quickly as possible. And so if we have our next 3 verses, so chanting the names of Manjushri, for Lamsa Rinpoche's swift return, the great terrific one who cries, ha ha, who screams, he, instilling fervent fear, his laugh a screeching laugh, a booming laugh. He is the Vajra laugh, the mighty howl. He is the noble Sattva Vajrasattva, the Vajra's sovereign lord, the highest bliss, the Vajra's wrathfulness, the highest joy, intoning hums of Vajra Humkara. With Vajra arrows serving as his weapon, his sword comprised of Vajras slashing all, upholding every Vajra bearing, with just a single Vajra ending strife. This is very dramatic. That's quite cool. All right, everybody, let's have a strong wish for His Holiness the Dalai Lama to recover from his operation and to live long, and for the swift return of Lama Zopa Rinpoche, and for all of our own precious teachers. Okay, everybody, lots of love. Thank you so very much. Thank you for hosting, William, Bill, and Shayla.